Okay, so now on to question 9. We've been told that given that sine 2x is equals to cos into brackets 3x minus 10 degrees, find tan x correct to 4 decimal places. Four significant figures. You have to watch out on that. They can either ask you to, into decimal places or significant figures. So you just come here and say the solution. So we know that, sine x is equals to cos 90 degrees minus x. But then here we've been given sine 2x. So sine 2x will be equating it to the formula is the same as cos 90 degrees minus 2x. Because in front of the x we add the 2. So now that we know that sine 2x is equals to cos 90 degrees minus 2x, we come back to the question. We were given that sine 2x is equals to cos 3x minus 10 degrees. But now remember, we have our sine 2x, we've said it's the same as cos 90 minus 2x. So instead of writing sine 2x, we write it as cos 90 degrees minus 2x is equals to cos 3x minus 10 degrees. So now that we have both cos and cos can easily cancel out, and you're left with 90 degrees minus 2x is equals to 3x minus 10 degrees. So now that you have this, you can easily collect the like terms. You can bring this then to this other side. It comes 90 plus 10. Remember, when the negative crosses the equal sign, it becomes a positive sign, and we left with 3x this side, and we can bring this minus 2x to this other side. Again, it becomes a positive 2x, and this becomes now 100 degrees is equals to 3 plus 2 is 5x. So now that we are looking for x, you divide both sides by 5, and you're left with your x is equals to 20 degrees. Remember the question, you are asked to find tan x. And now that you know x is 20, you come here and say tan x is equals to tan of 20 degrees. And you can easily take your calculator and do tan of 20, and this gives you 0.36397. But remember, going back to the question, you are asked to correct it to 4 significant figures. And as you know, significant figures, these are numbers such as 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like whole numbers. And remember, when you want to put this into 4 significant figures, we are going to start counting from 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So till here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And remember, since 7 is above 5, you carry 1 to this side. So when you add 1, it becomes 463.0. So your answer into 4 significant figures becomes 0.3640. So this is how we're expected to do question 9. So let's go to question number 10. So now on to question number 10. We've been told, a tourist converted 5,820 US dollars into Kenyan shillings at the rate of 102.10 per dollar. And while in Kenya, he spent 450,000 shillings, Kenyan shillings, and covered the balance at the rate of 103.0 per dollar. So we've been asked to calculate the amount of money that remained to the nearest dollar. So solution. So maybe you can just have this you can use this formula. We have 4K and K force. You can just, I don't know, you can this is just a simple formula that will help you remember when given such a question. So what 4K means, this is foreign to Kenyan buying price. And for K force, this is Kenyan into foreign selling price. So when you want to convert from foreign to Kenyan, the buying price, and now this is for Kenyan to foreign. So coming back to the question, we've been told that the tourist had, at first he had 5,820 US dollars, and he converted into Kenyan shillings at the rate of 102.10 per dollar. So what you know is for $1 is equals to cash 102 Kenyan shillings. What about 5,820 dollars? So you convert this into Kenyan shillings. So 5,820 times 102.10, and this gives you 5,820 times 102.10. It gives you 594,222. So this is the amount of money in Kenyan shillings that now the tourist had when he came into Kenya. So now, while in Kenya, he spent for 50,000. So the total that he had was 594,222. So we take 594,222, we less the money he spent in Kenya, so that we can get the money he was left with. So you less 450, and this gives you 144,222. So after spending 450,000 shillings, he was left with 144,222 shillings now, Kenyan money. So, and we've been asked to calculate the amount of money to the nearest dollar that remained. And remember, while converting the balance, he converted at the rate of 103 per dollar. So again, $1 is equals to 103 Kenyan shillings. What about 144,222 Kenyan shillings? So we want to convert this into dollars. So you have 144,222 times 1. You divide by 103. And this gives you 14.2. But remember, you've been asked to convert to the nearest dollar, the nearest whole number. So he was left with 1,400 US dollars. So basically, this is how you are expected to do this question. As you can see, it's very simple and direct, just that the words are a lot, but it's easy for you. You just convert the dollars into Kenyan shillings, then you less the amount that is spent while in Kenya, and after that you get now what remained, and after you get the remainder, you now convert it back to the US dollars. And remember, here you've been asked to the nearest dollar, so to the nearest whole number. Don't leave your answer with a decimal point. So you're left with 1,400 US dollars. So now question number 11. You've been told, given that B is equals to 2, 4, and C is 3, 2, and A is equals to 3C minus 2B, find the magnitude of A correct to 2 decimal places. So what you need to do here, you've been given B is 2, 4, and C is equals to 3, 2. So and you've been told that A is equals to 3C minus 2B. So first, what you need to do, you replace where we have C with C, because you've been given C, and where we have B with B, because we have B. So A is equals to 3, C is 3, 2, minus 2, 2, 4. So when opening such, remember this is vectors, what you need to do, you will take this 3, you multiply by 3, and 3 again you multiply by 2. So it's going to be 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6, that is how you do it, minus 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, equals to A. So once you have this, the next step you're going to take is the negative sign. So what you need to do, you're going to do the ones on top and the one below. So 9 minus 4 gives you 5, and 6 minus 8 gives you minus 2. So your A is equals to 5 minus 2. You know, this is a column vector. So the next step, once you have this, you have been asked to find the magnitude of A. So you know, while finding the magnitude, what you need to do is the same as finding the square root, you know, of A squared plus B squared. And in our case, this is just you know, A squared plus B squared. But now in our case, we already have, you know, the 5, so you don't have to say this because you already have the values here. It becomes, you know, 5 squared plus minus 2 squared. So 5 squared gives you 25 plus minus 2 times minus 2, negative and negative gives you a positive side, it becomes 4. So 25 plus 4 is 29, so you are left with finding the square root of 29. And when finding the square root of 29, so the square root of 29, you can just use your calculator, and this gives you 5.385. And remember, you are asked to find into 2 decimal places. So 2 decimal places, 1, 2, and since 5 is, you know, equals, it's above the criteria, so you can just add 1, and this gives you 5.39, and this becomes the magnitude of A. That is how you expected to do this question. So for question number 13, you've been asked to solve the inequality, and you know, this is the question that you've been given. So what you need to do when given such, you can either choose to begin, you know, the first two, these 2x minus 1 and 3x plus 4. So you can just come here and say solution 2x minus 1 less than or equal to 3x plus 4. So when you have such, you can decide now to collect the like terms together. And by this, you can decide to take this 2x to this other side and bring this whole number 4 to this side. So for this side, you're left with negative 1. And because you're bringing 4 to this side and it's a positive sign, it becomes a negative 4. Less than or equal to, you're left with 3x this side. And while bringing the 2 to the other side, it's a positive, so it becomes a negative 2x. So negative 1 minus 4. Assume you've gone to the shop and you owe the shopkeeper, you bought a sweet but you didn't pay, which was worth 1 shilling. And you go again and get 4 more sweets, but you don't give the shopkeeper cash. So the total you owe him, you know, the 1 shilling and the 4, so it becomes 5. And because it's debt, it's negative 5, less than or equals to 3x minus 2x gives you x. So for this side, you're left with negative 5, it's less than or equals to x. So again, now we can take 3x plus 4 and 7 minus x. So you take 3x plus 4 is less than 7 minus x. So for this side, you can choose to bring the x to this other side and take the 4 to the other side. So for this side, you're left with 3x. Remember, when bringing the x to this other side, the sign becomes a positive because it's a negative x, less than 7. The positive 4 becomes negative 4. So you're left with 3x plus x becomes 4x. There's always like a 1 here, but you don't write it. So that is 3 plus 1 and gives you 4x, less than 7 minus 4 is 3. So because you have to be left with x, you divide both sides by 4, and your x becomes x is less than 3 over 4. So now that we have the two sides, you can just now come and combine them both. So you put x in the middle, and you've been told x is less than or equals to negative 5. And again, you know, x is less than 3 over 4. So this becomes your answer. So you just combine the two again. Remember, if you want to be sure, like for these signs, they have to follow the same direction. So when you notice that come to your answer, you have like different, you need to work and see. So you have to ensure that they follow like the same direction. And yeah, I think basically that is how you are expected to calculate question number 13. So now on to question number 14. This is from the topic matrix. You've been told, given that A is this and B is this, and that AB is a singular matrix, find the value of X. So what you need to do here first, you've been given A and B. So A is 2, 3, 4, 4, and B is equals to X, 1, 2, 3. So first you need to find AB. So we need to find AB. And when finding AB, you multiply. You're going to take 2, 3, 4, 4 times X1, 2, 3. So what you need to know when multiplying matrices, what you normally do, you normally take the row, you multiply with the column. Row times column, row times column. So let's do it practical. 1, you take 2 times x. So 2 times x becomes 2x plus 3 times 2. You see, you do this, this, and this. 3 times 2 is 6. For this other side, it becomes 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 times 3 is 9. Then now for the bottom, you take again the row, you multiply with the column, the row again with the column. So 4 times x becomes 4x plus 4 times 2 becomes 8. For this other side, 4 times 1 becomes 4 plus 4 times 3 becomes 12. This is what you have. So now what you need to do, you can now 2x plus 6 just remains 2x plus 6. You can't add that, and 4x plus 8. Then now we are left with this other side, 2 plus 2, this is 11, and 4 plus 12, this is 16. So now this is our A, B. So now that we have AB, remember we've been told AB is a singular matrix. So what does a singular matrix mean? Remember back in when reading about the concept for matrices, we know that singular matrix is when the determinant is equals to 0. The determinant of the matrix is equals to 0. That is when we call it a singular matrix. And again, what is the determinant? So the determinant, when finding the determinant of AB, that is the first step that we need to do. So when always know when finding the determinant of maybe A, B, C, D, what you need to do is A times D, AD minus B, C. That is how you find the determinant. So for our case, determinant for AB, we multiply this with this and this with this. So 2x plus 6 multiplied by 16, you minus 4x plus 8 multiplied by 11. So 16, you can use your calculator now. 16 times 2 gives you that 2x plus, remember the x, 16 times 6 gives you 96 minus 11 times 4x gives you 44x plus, now here you need to know that the negative and the positive, because we are opening the bracket. So negative and positive gives you negative, so 11 times 8 is 88. So once we have this, remember we said that the determinant should be equal to 0. So you can equate 0 to this side. So now you can collect the right terms together. So 32 minus 44 gives you minus 12x plus 96 minus 88, you get 8. So for this side, remember it's equals to 0. So you can choose to bring this 12x to this other side. It becomes negative, so it's going to become positive. 12x is equals to 8. For you to find x, you divide by 12, and you're left with x is equals to 8 over 12. So that is the value of x. So basically here what you needed to do first, you needed to find AB, and by AB, just learn how to multiply the matrices. You just multiply the row times the column, the row times the column, like how I've done step by step. And once now you get AB, you can now find the determinant, and the determinant, the formula I've written here, when given A, B, C, D, you take A times B minus, B times C. And when you do that, for a singular matrix, the determinant is equal to 0. So once you multiply them and then you subtract them, you're going to get your answer as x is equals to 8/12. Again, when opening the brackets, you have to be careful with the signs, the negative and the positive, because that can be a small mistake, but it will make you end up not getting the total marks because you will get a different answer. So just be careful when opening the brackets, especially with the signs, and also just, the concepts, basic concepts. Yeah. On to question number 15. You've been told a trader bought two types of bulbs. We have type A and type B, whereby he bought them at 60 shillings and 56 shillings respectively. Then she bought a total of 50 bulbs of the both types at a total of 2,872 shillings. Determine the number of type A bulbs that she bought. So here you've been told first she bought two types of bulbs, and we have A and B. So you can just A plus B, she bought a total of 50 bulbs. Out of the two types of bulbs, she bought a total of 50, meaning those for A and those for B, both they are coming up to 50 bulbs. And now in terms of you can decide to separate this question into two. Like now this is now in terms of the bulbs, the two bulbs, giving us a total of 50 bulbs. And now in terms of the money that we have, for type A, she had 60 shillings for each. So 60A plus type B, 56B, giving us a total of 2872 shillings. So as you've defined it into two, now you can choose to do it, as a simultaneous equation, and you can use this part for A plus B is equals to 50. So you can choose to say that A is equals to 50, take the B to the other side, minus B. So while using equation 2, we have equation 1 and equation 2. So when you're using equation 2, where there is the A, we replace it with 50 minus B. So it becomes 60, open the bracket. Instead of writing A, we're going to write A is equals to 50 minus B plus 56B is equals to 2872. So 60 times 50 gives us 3,000 minus 60 times B, 60B plus 56B is equals to 2872. As you can see now, we can actually collect and put the items together. This gives us 3,000 minus 60 plus 56. You're left with minus 4B is equals to 2872. So we can decide to bring this 2872 to this side so that they can be whole numbers together. This is 3,000 minus 2872 is equals to minus 4B to the other side becomes positive 4B. So 3,000 minus 2872 gives you 128 is equals to 4B. Divide by 4 both sides by 4, and your B is equals to 32. So now that you have your B, remember the question we've been asked to determine the number of type A bulbs that she bought. You can use this and go back to equation 1, which was A plus B is equals to 50. So A plus 32, which is B, is equals to 50. What about A? So A is going to be 50, you minus, you bring the 32 to this side, it becomes negative, and you're left with your A is 50 minus answer, it becomes 18. So the number of type A bulbs that she bought was 18. So what you expected to do this question, like I said first, you can decide to put it into two like categories. Remember what equation 1, we made it using the knowledge for the bulbs. We had two types, there was type A and type B, and she bought both bulbs. The total for the both bulbs was 50 bulbs. For equation 2, we can decide to use the amount of money that she spent. For the type A bulb, we're going for 60 shillings, type B 56, and the total that she used was 28.72. So once you do it, that is how you get your A. So now on to question number 16. We've been told that a bus travels from P to R through Q, and remember we've been told every day it departs in the morning at 8:15 a.m. and therefore it stops at town Q for 40 minutes before proceeding to town R. So you're told on a certain day it took 5 hours and 40 minutes to travel from P to Q, and from Q to R it took 3 hours and 15 minutes to get to town R. So you've been told find in the 24-hour clock system the time the bus arrived at R. So basically what you need to do here, because you've been given everything, it's very direct. It's just we just move from one step to another, one town to another. So departure time was 8:15. In 24-hour clock, you just write it as such. And you're told from P to Q it took 5 hours and 40 minutes. So you come here and add 5 hours and 40 minutes. So this gives you 5, 4 plus 1 is 5, 8 plus 5 is 3. So that is 13:55. And remember, we are told always it has to stop at town Q for 40 minutes. So we have to add the time that it took while it was still at town Q. So you add the 40 minutes, and this gives you 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. But remember, since you're working with time, you can just write it like that. But since time, minutes, they're always up to 60 minutes, so we have to convert this. So minus 60, so that we can transfer the 1 hour to this other side. So it becomes 5 minus 0 is 5, 9 minus 6 is 3, but we're adding 1 because we've subtracted the 1 hour from the minute section and brought it to this other side. It becomes 14:35. So now that you have this, you go back to the question and you've been told from Q to R it took 3 hours 15 minutes. So you add 3 hours 15 minutes, and this gives you 5 plus 5 is 10, 3, 4, 5, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 1. So the time that it took to arrive at town R was 17:50 hours. So basically what you needed to do here, like we just said, first from P, this is departure time. Then from P to Q. Then this is for stopover. For the 40 minutes, you need to add it. And remember the trick here, you don't leave it as 95 minutes. You have to convert it into hours. So we left 60 and we are left with 35 minutes, and the one gives us 14. So now again here from town Q to R. So we see that it arrived at 17:50 hours. So this is how you were expected to do the question. Just reading through the question carefully and going step by step. So we are now done with section A of paper 1, Mathematics 2019. So now we are going to get into section B and see how we can tackle the questions in order to, just for us to revise. And just remember, in mathematics, it's just the simple little things, the positives, the negatives. You just have to be careful. You have to read the question again in order for you to understand. So yeah, I'm hoping you've understood. In case you have a question, you can ask in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to this channel. We are open to suggestions or anything you you'd want us to tackle. In case you don't understand, just put it down at the comment section below. Thank you very much.